is 6 o'clock and you are in focus. You know, the total dollar amount of what the riots cost Baltimore City, it's still a bit of a moving target, but we can tell you how much Baltimore police spent on the emergency equipment during that first week of unrest. In Focus investigator Brian Kubler is here to show us what the department bought for its officers from that night at Camden Yards through the first week of the curfew. Brian.
Jamie, from the night when the protests converged on Camden Yards to the riots that followed a couple days later, the Baltimore Police Department ordered almost $2 million in riot gear and other supplies. An open records request for the expense history of the department for the materials and equipment for the civil unrest tells part of the story the first days of the Baltimore riots. The department spent more than $250,000 on riot shields alone, many of which were purchased the day after the unrest dissolved into all-out rioting. Other big-ticket items include riot helmets to protect head and face. More than $400,000 was spent on those. But also $20 grand on rubber bullets, almost $300,000 on tactical uniforms, and more than $300,000 on gas masks as well. Batons and ear protection were ordered too, along with barricades and other supplies. The emergency purchase of this equipment is certainly a point of interest with the Baltimore Police Union. FOP President Gene Ryan referenced a lack of equipment causing injury to officers during the riots. Ryan said Anthony Batts addressed members in a late May meeting, saying the commissioner was sorry for letting them down. Afterward, Ryan explained to the media what he thought the commissioner meant.
Well, I think operationally there was some resources and equipment that wasn't made available quick enough, and that's why some of our officers were injured.
More than 160 Baltimore police officers and some firefighters were injured in the riots. The FOP says it is beginning to compile its own after-action report, and last week announced it had filed its own open records request. The union wants to examine whether or not the department was prepared and what decisions were made.
The release will resolve questions about what was ordered, in fact, what was not ordered during the riots. This review will be fair, factual. The officer's safety is our #1 priority.
Now, we reached out to the FOP again today for comment on this story, but have yet to hear back. For its part, the Baltimore Police Department released a statement on the emergency purchase of almost $2 million in riot gear. It reads in part, quote, "This equipment was issued to officers on the street to ensure their safety, and that the organization moved as quickly as possible to consistently work to obtain the best equipment or technology available." To read the entire statement by Baltimore Police, log on to our website at abc2news.com.